How did Western society become so commercialized? The answer may be found in this unassuming building in London's Notting Hill. Welcome to the Museum of Brands, a cornucopia of tin, cardboard, and eternal plastic that whispers tales of our collective past. But this isn't just a trip down memory lane. As we'll discover, this museum tells us something profound about who we are and how we got here.
When we talk about brands, we're also kind of talking about how well they reflect who we are as people and as a society.
You see, in the world of consumer culture, what you buy is who you become. From Victorian soap advertisements to Pride flag Skittles, the story of our brands is the story of us. And here's the kicker. Commerce isn't just a reflection of culture, it is our culture. Join me as we step into this time capsule of consumerism, where we're going to unravel how we went from cosplaying as lords and ladies to becoming walking billboards for brands. Are we curating these brands, or are they curating us? Let's find out. Our story begins in the Victorian era, a time of radical change and the birth of modern consumerism.
In Victorian times, factories were growing bigger and bigger, producing all types of paraphernalia, from pens to pottery, from pills to potions, and every type of powder. Indeed, a shopping basket of goodies was just growing, and we were more excited for it.
Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were far from being mere figureheads. They were the architects of a new social order, and they made a conscious decision to shift society, giving overt permission for the middle class to aspire for the very first time. And this was a calculated move. And it was born perhaps from the still fresh memory of revolutions that had toppled other monarchies. The Great Exhibition of 1851 was held in a purpose-built Crystal Palace. And this is perhaps the grandest manifestation of this vision. It was a showcase of industrial and cultural achievement that celebrated production and consumption on an unprecedented scale. Suddenly, the aesthetics of aspiration were within the reach of the common person. You may not be able to live like a lord, but you could buy products that made you feel like one. The middle class could now engage in a form of aristocratic cosplay through these consumer choices. This shift wasn't just about prettying up everyday items, it was a fundamental change in how society viewed consumption. No longer was it enough to have a product that simply did its job. Now, the product had to say something about you, its owner. Take, for example, the advertisements for soap in this era. They didn't just promise cleanliness, they promised respectability, refinement, even beauty. A bar of soap wasn't just a cleaning product. It was a ticket to a better social standing. But how do you sell these newfound aspirations? Enter the world of advertising.
What's that? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, I'm a Mac. And I'm a PC.
Eat a Snickers. Better?
In the beginning, it was all about where does attention currently exist. Ads found their way into train timetables, steamship guides, and almanacs. One very verbose example proclaimed itself the only accurate traveler steamship guide, throwing delightful shade at its competitors. As technology evolves, so does advertising. From print to radio to television and now to the digital realm, the goal has always remained the same: capture attention and sell aspiration. The advent of radio in the 1920s and then television in the 1950s opened up new avenues for brands to reach consumers. And suddenly, products weren't just seen, they could be heard. And jingles become earworms that get stuck in the consumer's mind long after the ad has come to an end.
Triple income will make you smile. Can I ask for the commercial?
Fast forward to today, we're bombarded with ads on our phones, on computers, and virtually every digital surface. The medium has changed, but the message remains the same. Buy this and become whoever you want to be. Now, let's step into the heart of the Museum of Brands It's called the Tunnel of Time.
Oh, there's a time tunnel. Ooh, I'm being sucked back through time.
This winding corridor takes us on a journey from Victorian times to today. And it's a showcase of over 12,000 items that tell the story of our consumer culture. To find out more about the Museum of Brands, I called on a friend and expert. Maya Knights is a journalist, an author, and a retail expert based in the UK. Tell me a little bit about Robert. How did the museum come to be? How did he get it started?
He's kind of known as a particularly private person. His work speaks for itself. It really, really does. And his expertise is totally on show at the museum. It's so comprehensive, so diverse, so deep in its cultural and social references that his reputation kind of precedes him in that regard. What Robert Opie has curated in London is pretty groundbreaking because of his background, having worked with brands since the mid-60s, saw that there was a gap in terms of tracing our social and cultural heritage through the way that we buy and consume products and how that's changed over the years. It really is a bit of a gem.
It's weirdly emotional and it's difficult to explain quite why.
Here, we see brands as durable empires. A citizen of the United Kingdom would have recognized a brand name like Heinz and Coleman's and Cadbury and Pear soap in Victorian era, just as you would recognize it today. Their persistence is a testament to the ability to evolve with the times while maintaining a core brand identity. Let's take Heinz, for example. From its humble beginnings with horseradish in 1869, to its iconic ketchup in 1876, to the vast array of products it offers today, Heinz has been a constant presence in our kitchens for 150 years. But it's not just about the products. It's about what Heinz represents: consistency, quality, and a taste of home. But let's look closer. We begin to see a shift. We move from soap to ideology. Early ads were utilitarian, and they focused on what a product did. But over time, they become ideological, selling not just a product, but a lifestyle, a belief, an identity. And this shift becomes particularly apparent during the World Wars. Brands didn't just sell products. They now sold patriotism. Buying the right brand became a way to support the war effort, to show your allegiance to king and country. In the post-war boom, this ideological bent took on a brand new flavor. Brands weren't just selling products or patriotism, they're selling the American dream, or its British equivalent. The right car, the right appliance, the right clothes, these are the keys to the good life.
We saw so many innovations in that era. Particularly when it comes to time saving and efficiency, things like freezers, hoovers, all of these things we can trace back to that era. Across the world, it was an era of unprecedented innovation. And given the fact that he starts in his museum with a timeline that traces the evolution of brands all the way back from the Victorian era, it's probably in the best location possible.
The building that houses this collection is itself a meta-narrative of commerce and culture. Originally built in the 1900s as one of London's first Jewish schools, it later became the London Lighthouse, which was a beacon of hope during the AIDS crisis of the 1980s and 1990s. When it was erected in 1930, this building served as the final home to the Bayswater Jewish School, which catered to local Jewish communities of Westbourne Park and Notting Hill. For nearly 5 decades, it stood as a center of learning that persevered through the uncertainty of world wars and the London Blitz. But as one chapter came to a close, another opened. In 1986, this same building became the London Lighthouse, a pioneering center for HIV and AIDS care. At its opening, it was hailed as the world's largest center for people living with HIV. Princess Diana's visit to the London Lighthouse in 1989 was a pivotal moment. Just like Queen Victoria, who had connected with people through consumer goods, Diana now connects through compassion. Both, in their own way, were shaping culture. This is a powerful reminder that while we often think of culture in terms of what we buy and consume, It's also about how we care for each other and how we face challenges as a society. And that brings us to today, where what we buy is who we become has never been more true. The things that we buy us back. We've become walking billboards for brands. Our choices signaling our values, our beliefs, and our aspirations. Just look around you the next time that you're in a crowded place. How many logos do you see in your eye line? We willingly adorn ourselves with brand names. We turn our bodies into advertising space. And it's deeper than that. These brands have now become part of our identity.
When you think about the power of brands that they can and have wielded in our society, they are intrinsically woven into the fabric of our development as culturally, as a people, in terms of our identity. And I think also it's kind of symbiotic, right? Those brands that have stood the test of time have been able to reflect the changes in our society and the evolution of our values as citizens. I love the fact that when we talk about brands, we're also kind of talking about how well they reflect who we are as people and as a society.
Take Skittles, for instance. You see it in the Museum of Brands in a special curated exhibition. They have an all-white package during Pride Month with the slogan, "Because only one rainbow matters." And this shows how brands are now participating in social change. Skittles isn't just selling candy, they're selling ideology. And that's not just Skittles. Every brand does this, from Nike's support of Colin Kaepernick to Patagonia's environmental activism. Brands are increasingly taking a stand on social and political issues. And in doing so, they're not just reflecting culture, they're actively shaping it. Interestingly, the Museum of Brands itself is sponsored by many of the brands that it chronicles. And that itself is a meta commentary on this intertwining of culture and commerce. It's even more amusing that the mural outside of the museum features altered brand names, I guess to avoid copyright issues. It's like the Temple of Trademarks isn't immune to trademark paranoia of its own. You might find yourself craving a Coca-Cola or some dissective biscuits after you view a mural like this. And in a final twist of commerce inception, you enter this museum through the gift shop. Because why simply learn about consumer culture when you can participate in it for yourself? The gift shop is a mix of nostalgic products, candy and toys and games, things that have been remanufactured or brought back to life to resell to the visitors of the museum. This is such a clever way to dial up the nostalgia while making the museum experience itself tangible and takeable.
So there you are. The history of your shopping may well be more interesting than you ever thought. Indeed, it's an insight into our consumer evolution. It evokes personal memories and connects us with our parents and grandparents. It's a vitally important strand in the story of who and what we are. And moreover, it's a brand new way of really understanding our history.
As we've seen, commerce isn't just culture, it's our autobiography. From Victorian soap to pride flag Skittles, the evolution of consumer goods tells the story of how we have evolved as a society. So as we look into the future, with all of its promises of AI and virtual reality and who knows what else, we have to wonder, how will our relationship with brands continue to evolve? Will we still define ourselves by what we buy? Or will a new form of identity emerge? So next time that you make a purchase, remember, you're not just buying a product. You're participating in a centuries-old tradition of using commerce to express identity, values, and aspirations. And in the end, we have to ask ourselves, are we curating these brands? Or are they curating us? Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Maya Knights for her contributions to this report. If you like this, why don't you like and subscribe? And if you want to follow more about culture and commerce, give us a visit online to futurecommerce.com.